Hello and welcome to Filter Optional. And I am the no filter of Filter Optional.
Why are you talking so slow?
Well, I'm trying to make a
You haven't even said your
presence.
name.
Oh, I am Chico West of Filter
Why
Optional.
are you trying to make a presence? I am Shannon West and I am with Filter Optional, and I am the filter, and Chico is moving slowly today, I guess.
I'm moving slowly, but I was thinking as, you know, we were doing the intro song and we're sitting here in the studio with Kevin, and I was going, how do I explain if you're a first-time listener? This is like a 107 episode or something like that. Is what is Filter Optional? And I was going, Filter Optional is you and I. We're a married couple. You know, people know us as, man, I don't have a filter. You know, and you do have a filter. We've been married 26 years, and you're kind of my filter, and I am your no filter.
We've used words like I am diplomatic and you are not. Diplomacy in our house.
Yes.
You're a challenger.
I am a challenger.
I am not.
And we've done some Enneagram stuff. We need to do a couple more episodes on that.
Yep.
But I've been kind of studying my challenger mentality. It's like, it's there, dude. It's like there's some gifts with it, but man, there is liabilities with it.
Yes, I would agree.
You know, and it's like I don't know if y'all are into the Enneagram out there in the podcast Spotify world, YouTube if you're watching us. Yeah. That I think there's gifts and liabilities for each of the 9 numbers.
Well, yes, there are.
Yeah.
Not I think. There are.
There are, but I can really recognize mine. It's like, whoa. It's
what we're going to talk about today, I think that with your challenger personality, it is a gift, actually, with what we're going to talk about today, and it's a liability for me. Being a helper, it's what we're going to talk about as a liability for me.
Yeah, and so we'll explore that, and I like that. I agree with you. But before we get into our topic, it's like we do like this. It's a West Media production. It is a platform that we enjoy getting people to reach out to us, and you know, a lot of times they're reaching out to Shannon through social media and doing DM messages and talking to us about our topics. I was in California last week, and someone goes, "Hey, I like your episodes. Your podcast. What other guest are you having on?" and stuff like that. So this is something that we're seeing some people from around the country, you know, and it's not to puff us up. It's just like,
no, but
we're
I think,
a couple that likes to talk about.
we have sacrificed ourselves to be
Yes.
vulnerable and talk about personal stuff that everyone can relate to. And so when they're listening, they're like, thank God it's them sharing their own, story
Crap.
instead of me. Like I just get, I can listen to it and then see what they did with that. But we're just like full exposure actually at this point. I mean, it's just
sort of falling on the sword to make a difference for other people.
Exactly.
And that's Kevin. He's our production producer.
And he hears it all. We try to protect our children because it's not our place to
share their story.
Share their story and everything else, but we certainly can share a lot of our stories and
we, just a little more background on us is, we're we both have a background of being young life leaders, and there's an old young life saying, earn the right to be heard.
Right.
We also believe in, everybody has a story. And so like you're talking about our stories, and we'd like to bring other people on and share their stories.
Right.
So it's a way to get out there. But getting back to the fact that, you can get in touch with us, via Shannon's social media, since there's a lot of times I don't look at social media, and I don't.
Here we go again.
I say that with this
Here
voice.
we go again. Chico's so
acting like I am righteous, but I'm not.
I'm not really on social media.
I'm not really on it, but I still have it. But it's all right, man. Social media, that's everybody's choice. Me, I just go down rabbit holes, and it's really the reason I don't do it is because I go, way down too many rabbit holes, and it's just easier not to look at it. I have other crap in
And
my
so that's
life.
your personality. You get
Yes.
hyper-focused. I can manage that situation without.
So you can DM Shannon on Instagram or Facebook, and we have, and we have an Instagram filter optional.
We won't out people for their topic suggestions, so you don't have to be afraid of that because we'll keep it anonymous.
Unless you want us to
Because
share.
if you say, I want y'all to talk about, cheating on your husband or whatever, and then we're like, thanks to Joan Allen out there for suggesting that we talk about what to do if you're cheating on your husband or whatever.
Little, we don't know a Joan Allen.
We don't.
So
I
if you
do
are
not
Joan
know.
Allen and you're listening to this,
And you just happen to be, yes.
yes, we don't know you, and so don't
That
worry
is
about
a
it.
Jane Doe.
Yes, Jane Doe. I like Jane Doe.
is better. But so if you suggest a topic, we'll just, and Chico is in the business of confidentiality as a therapist,
Yes.
and I've been married to him for 26 years, and so I'm in the business of confidentiality too because I hear a lot of what's going on just by default and other things. So
I like this topic. We've talked about it a little bit, and we're going to explore it and dig deep into it. But the topic comes from someone direct messaging you.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a great question. Why don't you do this? And I
Well-
think it was after, what episode was it after?
I can't remember. We
I
don't
can't
need to go down
remember.
that rabbit
Yeah.
hole. But I appreciated it so much because I don't really believe in coincidence anymore. After being alive for over 50 years, things just come across your plate, and it happens to be things that I'm working on right now. So when this message came across, hey, can we talk about this? I was like, well, yeah, I can talk about it because I'm really working on that right now.
It was about productivity and fruitfulness.
Okay, you had to go look. I
I
noticed
got
you.
hyper focused.
I know. I noticed you picking up your phone, and I was like, oh, great. What?
Yes.
Where's he going? But
I went to
it's after
Spotify.
productivity and fruitfulness, yes. And so what we're going to talk about today is
I like that you just got excited. I'm trying not to use that word, and you just did
you
it.
say that every episode. Try
Yes.
not to use that word, but okay. So what we are going to talk about is how to quit something easily or quitting quitting something well. Now,
Quitting
we're not,
something well can-
but hold on, wait. We're not talking about drugs or alcohol or porn or things that you need to quit. We're talking about things that
Could I
Yeah.
frame it up a little
sure,
different?
Sure.
How to step down from something that you've been involved in?
Well, yes, and it's not even step down necessarily. I mean, unless it's like a volunteer position, we're going to talk a little bit about that. But it is literally like dropping it,
letting go.
letting go of certain things. And how do you do that easily? How do you do it easily? Because
I don't know if you. I think easy. I don't know. Maybe it can be easy
Well,
for some.
I'm going to talk about that.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about that because I think, especially as women, when we look at our commitments, women are more like puppy dogs where we tend to be a little more, I could be wrong about this too. You could correct me. A little more loyal, a little more feel a sense of obligation if we say we're going to do something. I mean, I think men can feel that way too, but we just have a sense of loyalty to organizations or
Identity?
yeah, maybe an identity.
Can I kind of take us down a rabbit trail that might really kind of bring this into perspective?
Okay. 'Cause
Okay.
I'm going to talk about how to make it easy, or things to look out for. But yeah, go ahead.
Last night, we went to dinner, and I just kind of opened up and got it vulnerable just about what I'm struggling with right now. Just I do believe I like my private practice. It's not big and booming or any of those things. I sold Casa Colina, coming up on now 7 months ago, and I'm I've always had for the last almost 20 years, more than 20 years, big private practice, lots of people working for me. Now I don't really have anybody working for me. My identity was then in Gaston House, and then I had Casa, and now it's like I have my private practice, which I love, but I'm seeing 6, maybe 10 people a week, and I'm feeling restless. And I shared that is like, I go, I don't know about you, Shannon, but man, it's like we're all right, and you've encouraged me with that. It's just something that I'm wrestling with. It's like, but I feel like I need more of a purpose. I feel like I need more of, getting my identity from doing something. Okay. So I'm struggling with letting go that my identity isn't in those things. I don't know.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a rabbit hole, because I want to talk about kind of the opposite. Like, you have not a whole lot of commitments going on right now, and so you don't have to try to figure out how to let go of things easily. But I, on the other hand, okay, so I have a senior in high school. We are just short, but just short of being empty nesters, and so all the things that I have done volunteer-wise have been with the school or with the kids in the past 15 years or 20 years, whatever. So when Travis was in preschool, I was on the board of the preschool, whatever. So it started a very, very long time ago. And you feel like if you quit one of those things, I enjoyed a lot of it, but if you feel like if you quit one of those things, that you are letting a massive amount of people and children down. Like you are going to be looked at as a disloyal person that doesn't stick by her obligations and all that kind of stuff. And so it makes it hard to quit. But
do you tell yourself messages that, people are going to talk
judge
about me?
Yes.
About being selfish or self-centered, or
yes.
What is she doing and stuff like that. So a lot of just kind of quitting or letting go or stepping away from is a lot of it's fueled by what other women are thinking.
Well, sure. It's fueled by what others are thinking, but then also this internal discussion of like, so, excuse me. Oh my gosh.
God bless you.
I had to sneeze. That was inconvenient timing, but I sneezed. So let's take, for instance, a book club, okay? Because I just got into one, and I'm very happy with it. I don't want to quit it. But
all right.
But let's take a book club. So you get into a book club, and then all of a sudden you realize that I'm going to actually talk about everything, like anything that you're involved with, a tennis team, a book club, a PTA position, a job, that you have or whatever. I'm going to talk about the work that I've done on myself, because you've always said no is a complete sentence. Just say no. Why don't you say no? Why don't you just say no? You have a problem saying no. You commit, you overcommit, you overextend yourself, and blah, blah, blah. And
is there truth to that?
Yes. But as I start working on myself, I realize that when I look at participating in anything, I try to put it through a series of tests, like physically. Like, if someone calls me and says, okay, do you want to be on the board of whatever, I listen to my body and see if I have a physical response to that question. And if the physical response is rapid heart rate, anxiety, dread, like, I'm automatic a no. But what do you do if you're already in an organization and you get those physical symptoms when you think about going to a meeting or having to do something for that, or having to read for a book club? Okay, so let's go back to, you're in a book club and you realize you don't have time to read the book, and so you're not going to be able to participate, and you're going to be the one in the book club that is dreading going because you don't have time and you don't want to do it and whatever. If that activity is creating anxiety and rapid heart rate and sleeplessness, because you can wake up in the middle of the night being like, oh crap, I need to pick up this book and read it because I have book club tomorrow and it's keeping me up, or whatever, I know he's laughing because he's like, that would never happen to me. Like, I just wouldn't worry about it. But,
well, and some of that's me being innate.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's a gift, because you would never worry about it. You would just be like, I'm not going today, or I don't,
It's what,
or screw you all,
as you're sharing, I am thinking about, last night I was inside, you were outside, and my dad's favorite song came on for you outside. I'm gonna tear up, and I went and looked up the words. I've heard it. It's one of my favorite artists, Van Morrison. And I was just looking at these words. When you quit or step down or step away, it's hard to really have these words from Van Morrison songs. Days like this.
Days like this, yes.
Because it says, when you don't need to worry, there will be days like this. When no one's in a hurry, there will be days like this. When you don't get betrayed by that old Judas kiss. Oh, my mama told me there will be days like this. It's like that. It's like all of a sudden Van Morrison saying, hey, if you're that old
you have a
Judas
day of relief.
That old Judas kiss, like what others are thinking, that betrayal. It's like that consumes us when we are struggling letting go. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. So, but we continue on because as a person, as a woman, for me personally, I think I'm going to persevere. You know what? I'm going to push through this feeling. I'm going to push through this anxiety. I'm going to push through this because I don't want to let anybody down. And I don't want to be considered a person that is disloyal and doesn't stick by her obligations, has her yes be yes and her no be no. I tend to veer totally on the yes be yes thing and concentrate and sit in that. Like, I will not let my yeses be no's. I will let my yeses be yes. And then I say yes too much. And then it causes me physical harm and mental health harm. And then I just get on a hamster wheel, and I won't stop. I won't stop because I am obligated and I'm loyal and I'm a good person and I'm the one. And then in some cases it's like I'm the one that's always done it, so I can't let go because then it's going to fall apart. Like, if
so can I pause you real quick?
Yeah.
What it sounds like to me is this kind of almost martyr syndrome.
Yes.
It's like,
but you don't see it that way.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying from stepping back and looking, it's like I don't think you even realize that you're being the martyr.
No, you don't. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was interjecting, is that it's that word never comes into play, when you're moving through this. But
so in a way, you're rationalizing, justifying, and minimizing all those things that you need to do, and if you don't,
and then
do
you
those
continue
things,
to have those feelings of dread, and it's like they're going to ask me again, and I'm going to say yes, and then there are times when I've said no, and then they've still come back because they're like, well, you're the only one that has a password to something or whatever.
They suck you back in.
Well, yeah, but I've gotten very good at. In fact, I had a friend call me a couple nights ago to talk about some college tips or whatever, because it's her first rodeo doing this college application stuff, and we're in the thick of it now. And I was just giving her some tips, and she kept kind of apologizing for taking my time because it was late at night. And I go, listen, I finally just said, listen, I would not have answered the phone or told you to call me if it wasn't a good time. I have gotten really good at that. I
agree with you.
Yeah. I said, I used to be horrible. I would take your call no matter what. Even if I was, in bed sick or whatever, I would make that time to talk to you, but I don't do that anymore. So you don't have to apologize anymore. I'm happy I won't take your call if I can't. But it takes practice to quit things easily. It doesn't come naturally and it doesn't come easily, But
is
you
it
have to be aware of I think you have to be first aware of the physical response.
So you have to be aware of self. And so
Self-aware, yes.
So that self-awareness is like,
and then you just have to quit.
But
And
I don't know.
not worry about what people are thinking about.
Okay,
that.
So that's what I want to unpack.
Yeah.
Is like there. It seems as though, and I'm not any different. It seems as though mine just manifests itself differently, because I get that I'm going to call it out. I get that codependent way.
Yeah.
In the sense of, I get worried about what other people think or their feelings, or want to rescue them or want to protect them, and I see it more
and you
so.
do feel like it's not necessarily completely what other people are thinking, although it that plays into it, but it's disappointing people. I don't want to disappoint people. Like, let's say let's use my mahjong as an example. Like, you have to have 4 people to play. You don't have to. You can have 3 and you can play with Bob, but you have to have 4 people to play. And so when I have my 3 friends just in our neighborhood that play, I have friends that play all over, but that we can actually get together, and I have to concentrate on saying when a really good time is for me. And if something comes up and it brings up those physical feelings of anxiety and it's going to affect my mental health, I just have to say I can't do it. And that's fine, and not worry about them going, oh my gosh, there goes Shannon again. She said she'd play.
And so, Shan, that's what I wanted to unpack.
Sounds stupid, but
it isn't stupid. I wouldn't use that.
Yeah.
I would use more. It's like, I tell myself I'm worried about what they're thinking, but it's not. But if I really break it down, it's like I'm having feelings about what I think they're feeling or having. So it's really comes back to me once again.
Right.
I'm having those physical manifestations.
Right.
And it's like
again.
And so it's not I can frame it up, oh, I'm worried what they're thinking. No, it's really I'm having fear or pain or shame about the feelings that I think they might be having or not having.
Yeah.
And so it's really comes back to me again.
And I had a real struggle recently with this. This is a good example that I just thought of. But Clay Hunley has taken over as president of...
I thought we weren't saying names.
I'm saying his name because he's a savior to me right now.
Okay.
I am going to I'm going to praise his name. So that's why I'm saying his name.
Okay.
Took over if I said the person that took over as president of the Booster Club or whatever, everyone would know who it was anyway in our neighborhood. But Clay, he is like so good at this job, and he is so kind and gracious with me about, like, I don't want to put more on your plate. He is having to ask me questions, because one of them was, you're the only one with the password to the certain Gmail.
I think he asked permission.
He does ask permission.
He doesn't assume. That's what you appreciate about him.
Yes. He's like, and he'll ask me. He'll say, will you help me? But just recently, he is as eager as I was 8 years ago to get some community things going around sports. And I just lost my steam. I lost my steam. And some things did get changed and started, but he's wanting to amp it up, and I am all for that. And he's the right guy to do it. But he called me about tailgating before home football games and kind of what that would look like. And I don't need to go into our discussion, but he said, well, we're going to need manpower. And I said, I'm telling you right now. I kind of interrupted him, and I said, I'm telling you right now, I'm not doing anything for it. Not one thing. Not one thing. I won't plan. I won't be there. I might be there, but I will not volunteer, because he wanted to set up a membership booth and all that stuff too. It's all great stuff. I said, I am just telling you right now that if you set all that up, I am not volunteering. Because he said, I'll send a email to the board and see if we can get interest and volunteers that will come help. And I go, that's great.
You did that. So what happened?
So he said, great. But I was worried. And then I said, I thought I sounded like a bitch, because I was so adamant about
You were direct.
literally not doing a thing.
You were direct.
But what I'm trying to say is that my assumption of his response was that he might think I'm a bitch or a little upset with me or think like, okay,
you
I
got
get it, I got
concerned
it.
about his feelings.
Response
and you
to
were having
my-
feelings about what you thought
Yes.
his feelings were.
Yes, and he was great. I mean, he was like,
Well, and so
I got
let's pause. Let's pause. Yeah, if you're out there listening, it's like Shannon's a 2. She's the helper. She has a hard time letting go. She's given examples of that. Me is the 8. I was the Booster Club president, for 4 years, and then when I stepped down, I stepped down. I haven't really been
now,
involved
Chico,
at all.
I'm sorry.
Okay, what?
You stepped down from what?
The president.
Being the figurehead? I mean, come on. You didn't have to walk away from much. Quitting was really easy for you because it wasn't like you were on everybody's speed dial.
Oh, was I like Biden? Someone else was running the show?
Stop it. There's the no filter.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was
Yes,
like,
someone
I
else
was
was
like,
running
I
the
was
show.
like Biden. I just
Okay.
got up there. Huh?
Stop it. Okay. All right. No, that's not what we're talking about. But
I don't think I was because I was real active with the athletic director. I was active at the school. I did step away and let go of all that stuff pretty easily.
yeah, because
I was
you
meeting
were-
with them on a weekly
But you
basis.
can do that. You're like,
Yes.
F you all. I'm out. Like
Yeah.
you're like, peace out, and then Elvis has left the building. For
But
me,
going,
I'm like,
but Shannon, going back to what Clay Hunley said, and these are the days, these words from Van Morrison, and I'd love it if Kevin could pull up the song and we could play to end this when we end.
no, I don't get this.
When you don't need an answer, there will be days
I don't want YouTube
like
to flag
this.
us for copyright.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
they will. Yeah, you can't do
You know,
that, Chico.
when you
Okay.
don't need an answer, there will be days like this. When you don't meet a chancer, there will be days like this. When all the parts of the puzzle start to look like they fit it, then I must remember there will be days like this.
Yeah. Okay. So that's great. I love how you, incorporate random things, but I mean, it's not totally random. But here's the thing. Here's what I want people to get from this. I don't know how long have we been talking.
I didn't realize till 26 minutes. I forgot to put a clock on. You're
Okay.
at 28 minutes right now.
Okay,
right,
good.
good.
Okay, good.
So
we're about at my limit. But I just want people that are listening to realize that if they can be self-aware, aware of their physical feelings about things, like go ahead and just ask yourself, like, I have a meeting, I'm on the board of ARM, and I feel pretty good about that. It doesn't give me anxiety right now because I love doing that. But
Yes, we just had an
say I have a
episode
board,
about warmth
yes,
this
but
week.
say I have a board meeting next week. How does that make me feel when I think about it? What physical feelings come up for me if you're thinking about it? Anything else that you might want to step away from?
And if
Quit
you're
or let
getting
go of.
anxious, if it becomes overwhelming, if it's dreadful. Now, here's the deal.
That's
Wait,
the
going
first thing
back,
to look for, I think.
Going back to what I was saying is like I could step away. I did have responsibilities as the booster president and stuff like that. But Shannon didn't need to compare herself to where I could step away real easy. I don't need to compare myself to how you struggle with stepping away. So
Yeah.
if you're out there and your spouse or other people can step away, they might have a different personality type. It has nothing
Right.
to do with you not being good enough. That's where I was going. My personality type is like, I'm done. Boom. I write it off. I walk away. I don't have those other feelings.
Well, you just also have this trust that someone is going to pick up the pieces.
Yes.
You can walk away and clean break, and someone else is going to do it, or they're not, and you don't care. Like,
and I don't
mean, not
take
that
it
you
on
don't care,
but
but-
I don't take it on personally.
right? And I struggle with
Taking it
thinking
on
that
personally.
someone, and it's not that I've just been let down enough to that people haven't picked up the pieces, but maybe that's because I've held on to one or two or three pieces of the puzzle. It's like
Too long.
It's like doing a puzzle and you can't find three pieces, and it makes you crazy because you're like, maybe I'm holding on to those pieces.
And you don't even realize you have them.
I don't even realize I have them, but I'm holding on to those pieces. And once I give them fully back, they can complete the puzzle and everybody moves along. But
and so there is some of that. And so I like that you're saying that, is because I like that you're recognizing maybe you're holding on to it. And so, yes, look at what you're feeling.
Look at
what's
what you're feeling,
coming
and then
up
look
for
at
you.
your part in it. Like, when you think about quitting, do you think that there's no one to take your place?
That's a lie. I love, my dad who passed away. It'll be 7 years, October 1st. So in a month, I always loved his saying, there's always someone that can replace you. That has always stuck with me.
Right.
Is like that is one of those things that he left for me, that everybody's replaceable.
Yeah.
And if you're struggling with letting go, you're not thinking that you're replaceable.
Right.
And so I've wrestled with that in the past. No, I need to do more, and I get in there and I start to control it. But it's like what you're saying is, recognize what you're feeling. Don't compare yourself to others.
Right.
You are replaceable. Then it takes that step of just letting go and trusting God, which sometimes can be a hard freaking process.
Yes, it is a process. I think it's important to point out that it's a process. So quitting easily is a process. It's not a jump up and drop the mic, but I think you have to be self-aware of all of those things, and then bask in the freedom when you actually carve something out of your life that is not serving you well. And it might be an organization or a club or a job that is serving other people very well. I mean, and especially in the Christian faith, we are to be of service. And even in, AA and things like that, getting out of self, we are taught to get out of self and serve and serve and serve and get out of self and serve. But we need a self-awareness.
Well, if you take it a step further, I like that you said, in the Christian faith and a self-awareness and get out of self. And
in most faiths, but I'm speaking from my personal.
But Christ came to serve.
Right.
But also Christ, what he did, he modeled in his service that he took time for himself.
Yes.
He did say no. There's countless examples of that.
Right.
And so think about those things. I did like this topic. This was good. Thank you for
I really like it.
Your self-awareness.
Yes. So I'm going to go quit some stuff.
I like that. Definitely. Well, until next time, filter optional out.
Yes.
That's Chico and Shannon. We're gone. I'm still talking and the music's going. Take care.